Joseph was the only child to a couple who owned multiple businesses all over the world. Growing up as a child, Joseph wanted to become a musician. Joseph was always singing for his friends and participating in various school singing competitions. After graduating high school, Joseph was so excited because he knew it was time for him to pursue an undergraduate degree in music. But what he didn't know was that his parents had other plans for him. His parents wanted him to become a medical doctor. This came as a shock to Joseph, and so he turned them down. They threatened to give away all of Joseph's inheritance to charity if he didn't agree with their offer. He was left with no choice than to agree with his parents. Joseph was enrolled in one of the most prestigious universities in the world. Even as a medical student, Joseph always skipped classes in order to perform music in restaurants, bars, and cafes around his area. Joseph always tried to bribe most of his lecturers in the university, but they would always turn him down, not just because it was against the university's policies, but also because he was a medical student. They didn't want him to become a threat to the society after his graduation. This led Joseph so frustrated because he had difficulties in comprehending most of the courses. His frustration even grew the more during his final year in the university. Joseph had a course in which he had already sat for 3 times and never made it. Joseph attempted once again to bribe his lecturer, this time around offering a very hefty sum of money, of which he later on accepted. He made Joseph pass the exam and graduated with flying colors. He got a job as a medical doctor in his hometown, not knowing that something strange was about to befall him. On a fateful Friday afternoon, there was a major accident that occurred in one of the city's major roads. There was a woman in the car who was brutally injured and needed urgent medical surgery. She was rushed to the hospital in which Joseph worked for. Her husband was immediately contacted about the recent developments. Meanwhile, in the operation room, Joseph could do nothing else but panic as the woman's condition became much more critical. The woman later died due to Joseph's lack of competence. The news of her sudden demise was communicated to her husband. As Joseph moved out of the operation room, the woman's husband, in grief, recognized Joseph's face. It was then that he realized Joseph was the one who carried out the surgery on his wife. The man, in grief, screamed to Joseph, "You killed my wife!" He remembered the day he collected bribe from Joseph and made him pass an exam he didn't deserve. However, the man still decided to press charges against Joseph. After some months of proper investigations, Joseph's license was revoked. The lecturer was equally fired after the news of what had happened between him and Joseph went public.